Your teachers and other leftists have been lying to you. America was not stolen, and American Indians are not native to America. British settlers who came on board the Mayflower in 1620 landed on Plymouth Rock. They colonized the land and during that time broke bread with the Indians. That feast became known as the first Thanksgiving. Not everything went well after that. There was a series of conflicts known as the Indian Wars that stemmed primarily from disputes over land and resources. But the land was not stolen. The Indians fought like hell for what they had. According to historian Jim Webb, the Indians, who were also known as savages, would have beaten us except they had a code that forbade them from leaving their women and children behind when they retreated. The fight for their land was noble and valiant. White people are always vilified by the left, but in truth, every group conquered other groups for land. The Indians conquered other Indians for land and sold some land to the settlers for trinkets. And after the settlers grew the crops, the Indians came back and killed the settlers to steal the harvest. Settlers had a code to not murder women and children of the rival group. Yet when our men came back from hunting, they often found the scalps of their women and children hanging on poles outside the cabin. It's not Marxist enough or political correct enough to admit the truth. And this is what your grandmother learned in school, because no one was out to revise history in those days. Then our men taught women how to take up arms and shoot when the Indians invaded if they were gone. Like it or not, the real history of Americans does not show Geronimo signing the Declaration of Independence. It was men with names like John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin. The Continental Army, representing the 13 colonies, and the British Army, including Brits, Germans, the French, and the Spanish, fought in the American Revolution. No Asians, no Muslims, and no Mexicans. Great Britain lost the war, and that's why we celebrate American independence on the 4th of July with fireworks and not peace pipes. When Indians dominated the land, it was dirt, much as the reservations are today. Around 1695, the Scotch-Irish began immigrating to America. They were born fighting, and it was customary for them to teach children how to shoot guns. The Scotch-Irish shaped America through law enforcement and the military and became known as the greatest fighters in the world. That is why the people who hate America, the ruling class who want cheap labor and illegal votes, had to destroy America from within. And one way to do that was to import third world peasants to replace them. All you have to do is give them free stuff like health care and they'll vote for anything. If they had taken up arms against our men, they would have gotten their asses kicked just like the British, and they knew it. So they disparaged our young men, filled them full of guilt and Ritalin and fentanyl, so they're out in the street here dying, while Mexicans ride around in $95,000 trucks and made our white men feel like shit by calling them white supremacists, white nationalists, or racists for wanting to defend the homeland of their ancestors. Our young white men were taught that they are second-class citizens in their own country, and other Marxist trash like women's rights in our schools. And that's why President Donald Trump is dismantling the Department of Education. Best move he could have made as far as I'm concerned. He is an American hero. He is the first politician to have the guts to stand up for our country and our forefathers and not have to bend over to traitorous rule. The foreign invasion has been perpetrated by the United Nations. This is the homeland that we fought for. It is not the United States of Mexico. We, the American people, are taking back our country that has been stolen from us through motor voter laws perpetrated by the traitor Alex Padilla, and voter registration cards being given out in food stamp and Medi-Cal packets without asking for any proof of citizenship. Learn history. Mexico sold the land to the United States, most notably through the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ended the Mexican-American War in 1848. Through this treaty, Mexico gave up a vast territory, which is present-day California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, most of Arizona and Colorado, and parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Wyoming. The United States paid $15 million for this land. Later, the Gadsden Purchase in 1854 involved the U.S. buying a smaller piece of land, which is now a part of New Mexico and Arizona, for $10 million. So much for stolen land. Make your country great and leave ours alone. We didn't vote for you to be here. We voted against it.